Coming up, the old Capitol is transforming, but for one night only.
And later we're seeing why one small part of Iowa City is going away.
Daily Iowan pregame editor Adam Hensley gives us his thoughts on Iowa's game against Minnesota.
We'll hear from field hockey head coach Lisa Salucci on what it will take to beat Michigan and Stanford.
A whole lot of storms are hovering over this weekend's forecast. Stay tuned for weather.
All that and more coming up on this Thursday morning edition of DITV.
Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in to this Thursday, October 4th morning edition of DITV. I'm Mackenzy Cooper.
And I'm Susanna Klooster.
For one time only, a famous light artist is coming to Iowa City this evening to feature the old Capitol in its 50-state light show. Daily Iron reporter Lauren Harrell has more.
Gary Hofstetter is an international light artist coming to Iowa City this evening as part of his 50-state light art tour. Hofstetter has been traveling around the world producing light art on recognizable landmarks in the area, often sharing a message or story. Hofstetter has chosen to bring his work to the old Capitol because of its historic value.
Because of this beautiful history this building is representing, and helped also to write history. This is one thing.
While viewing the show, Hofstetter hopes to not only showcase the union of Switzerland and the United States, but allow people to see a familiar building in a way they have never seen before. He wants locals to see the object as a message of how our country was started.
Inside, I show them from outside. And the next day, when I'm gone, the next day when they pass on that building or landmark, they will see it totally with other eyes. And they start thinking, this is our roots, this is our history. And we have to educate our children how our country grew up.
Hofstetter says his favorite parts about his job are meeting new people and making them happy while learning new things and living out his passion. Reporting from the University of Iowa Pentecost, this is Lauren Varell, DITV News.
The University of Iowa hospital and clinics are continuing their streak of excellence with their use of telemedicine. After a 16-month pilot program, Van Buren County Hospital and UIHC are teaming up using electronic communication and medical record databases to treat rural patients. Telemedicine lets providers from the hospital speak together to patients twice a day to go over lab work, medications, and plans of treatment. Both hospitals hope to expand the technology to increase patient access and help maintain full-time hospital services.
University counseling services are reaching out to university students in a brand new way. We brought in Daily Iron reporter Kelsey Harrell to learn more. Good morning, Kelsey.
Good morning, Kenzie.
So, Kelsey, what is this new program UCS rolling out?
So it's called Let's Talk Hawks, and it allows students to go in and anonymously talk to counselors about any questions they might have about mental health, about counseling in general, or just talk about any issues they might be having.
And what makes this different from normal counseling services?
This brings the counselors to the students in the dorms, and it allows students to go in and not have to set up any sort of scheduling, and it's just kind of flexible with them.
And what problems are these Let's Talk Hawks looking to fix?
It's looking to get rid of the stigma of mental health and let students know it's okay to have questions and it's okay to talk about it.
Thank you so much, Kelsey, from the Daily Iron Newsroom. That was Kelsey Harrell.
Well, Mackenzie, it's getting kind of cold outside, and I don't think I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yesterday was beautiful. Today was chilly walking into the studio this morning, but that's typical fall fashion, right? In Iowa City, for sure. So let's see what we'll see in the next couple of days. Dylan?
Thanks, Mackenzie and Susanna. Yeah, although it was quite hot during the day yesterday, it got a bit colder last night. Now, I know we are just into October, but the first winter storm of the fall could already bring some snow by early next week in parts of the Rockies and the High Plains. Snow has already begun to fall in the northern part of the United States up by Montana. Also, as you can see here, the snow outlook suggests some more snow coming this weekend up in North Dakota and into the higher peaks of the northern Rockies. Now, although none of this has hit anywhere near Iowa City, it may be an early warning signal for some snow to come. And speaking of cold weather, today we have some chilly temperatures at 46 degrees, but it will still be sunny. As we move into tonight, we will be mostly cloudy with a temperature of 53 degrees. Now, as we transition into our 5-day extended forecast, I hate to say it, but we are looking at some thunderstorms this weekend and beyond. Friday's forecast has a 90% chance of thunderstorms with a high at 70 degrees and a low in the high 50s. Saturday calls for a 100% chance of storms with a high at 60 degrees and a low of 50 with 12-mile-per-hour winds. We'll have even more thunderstorms on Sunday with a high in the lower 60s and a low temperature at 59 degrees. We get a bit hotter as our weeks begin on Monday with a high in the 70s and a low in the 60s with only a 50% chance of some scattered thunderstorms throughout the day. Finally, on Tuesday, there will again be some scattered thunderstorms around the day with a high at 70 degrees and a low in the 50s. Well, hopefully we can all get through these storms and don't get any more flooding in the streets with all of this rain. So just be sure you have that umbrella packed wherever you go this weekend. Mackenzy and Susanna, back to you guys at the desk.
A new university club aims to bring together students with chronic illnesses. To help create an inclusive community, the Chronic Illness Alliance president and founder Ariana Mitra said, quote, "The organization hopes to hold activities to support wellness such as mindfulness, meditation, and yoga," end quote. Mitra decided to develop and model the club after a community she was a part of while receiving treatment at the Mayo Clinic. The Chronic Illness Alliance will be holding their first meeting today at 7:30 in room 343 in the IMU.
Iowa City is saying goodbye to its historic City Park amusement rides after more than 60 years. According to Julie Siddell Johnson, the city director of Parks and Recreation, the rides are outdated, difficult to maintain, and not accommodating for people with disabilities. Nowadays, the cost for maintaining the rides is greater than the maintenance for all trails in Iowa City. The city will instead use the funds to undertake smaller improvement projects. Some community members are looking forward to the change, but others are sad to see the rides go. To learn more about the project, check out Paul Elwell's story in the Daily Iowan.
The University of Iowa Theater Department is opening their main stage season this weekend. And if you're a fan of Jane Austen, you're in for a treat. DITV arts and culture reporter Kaylyn Kluck has an inside look at the brand new play. Kaylyn.
Yes, if there's one thing the UI Theater Department loves, it's premiering new work, and this weekend is the opening of a lively new stage adaptation of Northanger Abbey. I spoke to director and co-adapter Carol McVeigh to learn how they brought out the energy in a Jane Austen classic. Take a look.
It's a world of ballrooms, books, and bright young heroines with a lot to learn.
I told the cast the first rehearsal, we're probably going to dust off a lot of the misconceptions that people have about Jane Austen.
Adapting the novelist's first work as a play was no small task, but director Carol McVeigh and MFA dramaturgy student Molly Winstead started writing the script in May and have it up on stage this October.
And in fine weather, I'm out more than half my time.
One of the reasons that it appealed to me is because the central character is a 17-year-old girl. And this is essentially a coming-of-age story of this young girl, Catherine Morland.
Northanger Abbey follows Catherine as she's thrust into the social scene of Bath, England, where her love for Gothic novels interferes with her search for friendship and romance. However, Jane Austen's satirical voice is never lost.
That was the most key issue for us, was how do we infuse this production with the presence of Jane Austen's wit. The first thing that we attempted was to put Jane Austen on stage.
This was to happen!
And that's exactly what they did, and in the process, an important message is never lost.
What people are like, and what are relationships like, what is love like, rather than extrapolate from what you're reading or what you're seeing. You determine your own sense of these things.
The play might be a period piece, but despite the proper decorum in English Regency, this show is anything but stiff.
It's not a costume drama, and I find that actors can get inhibited and trapped by that, and you forget that people are people. And people are going to scream, people are going to run, people are going to laugh, people are going to swing on ropes, people are going to jump off tables, people are going to pretend to be monsters. They're people.
It's a vision of a classic novel that modern audiences can connect to.
It'll have a lot of breath and a lot of air, and there's a lot of fun in it. And I think Jane Austen would approve.
And performances begin tomorrow night at Maybe Theater, and from what I've seen of the show so far, I can tell you it's a fun one. And that's your arts update for the week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Kaylyn. Well, I'm excited to see how the Hawkeyes do this weekend in Minnesota, trying to get back that pig.
Yeah, definitely. I missed the Hawks last week, so I'm excited to see them back in action this weekend. So let's toss it over to Kim and Tanner in the sports studio to see what we can expect from the Hawks this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Iowa football will hit the road for the first time this season when they head up to Minnesota this weekend.
And hopefully they'll head back to Iowa City with the Floyd of Rosedale trophy. And with more on what the Hawks have to do to keep Floyd, we have Daily Iowan pregame editor Adam Hensley standing by live in the newsroom. Adam, what can we expect from linebackers now that Nick Neiman isn't out for at least a few weeks?
Well, this is going to be interesting because defensive coordinator Phil Parker, he's rolling with his 4th different starting linebacker combination in 5 games this season. The Hawkeyes are rolling with Barrington Wade as the starting outside linebacker, Jack Hockaday on the inside position, and Jaimin Colbert at weak side. Now, I'm really interested to see how Barrington Wade does because he's a guy who really has not played all too much this season. Parker was pretty high on him, saying he's practiced well and been a guy the Hawkeyes can count on, but I'm interested to see if the Hawkeyes stick with him if he struggles against Minnesota or if they sub in Christian Welch, who's a guy who started twice this year and is really a solid option.
How do you think the Iowa defense will hold up against Minnesota freshman Zach Annexstad?
Well, Zach Annexstad, he's a true freshman and he's a walk-on. So he's performed actually pretty decent this season. He's got 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. However, he has not faced a defense like Iowa's. I consider myself an optimist, and I think this kid could potentially get eaten alive. The Hawkeyes are searching for turnovers in the secondary. They only have 2 interceptions so far this season, and I think you combine a hungry secondary with a defensive line that's been wreaking havoc on quarterbacks all season long, and Annexstad could be in for a long day.
In other news this weekend, the 10th ranked field hockey team will host Michigan on Friday and Stanford on Sunday. Here's what head coach Lisa Salucci had to say looking into this weekend.
Michigan and Stanford are great teams. Michigan, they bring unbelievable defensive pressure, so they will double and triple team the ball carriers. They have a very lethal offense and a very lethal offensive corner. So we have to play, first of all, we have to be able to command our skill, great strength on the ball so we can handle the pressure they bring. And then we need to play great team defense and just really organize because they thrive on the counterattack and just getting opportunities going forward.
That's it from us in the newsroom, or in the sports studio, guys. Back at the desk, back to you.
And thank you for tuning in to this Thursday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to daily-iowan.com for all your latest news.
And if that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition on newsstands now.
For DITV, I'm Susanna Klooster.
And I'm Mackenzy Cooper. Have a great day, Iowa City.